Welcome to episode 19 of the Wild Blueberries Roundtable. We got a full table here for the trade deadline episode because you can always enjoy trades. I mean, we're sports fans, that's what we're used to at this point. For the first time in a while, there's only one trade deadline. So everything has to happen in the next 19 hours or players can't play in the playoffs. That's about it. So each of us put together a list of 5 players that we think are going to get traded tomorrow. Not 5 players that we want to get traded. If there were 5 players we wanted to get traded, it would be a completely different list for most people. But instead, we put together 5 players that we think will get traded and a possible destination for all of them. All right. So let's have Nick started off with his 5.
Alrighty. So, these are in no particular order. But
Order for any of these.
the first player that I think we are going to see get moved, I think Trevor Bauer's gone. I don't really understand moving Trevor Bauer. I think if you're going to go for it, you keep him, and your rotation is. I mean, they have a good rotation, but it's also Trevor Bauer, and you could get a good chunk of value for him as he is a pretty good pitcher. I think another player that we will see moved is I think that Zach Wheeler is going to be moved. I do not think that Noah Syndergaard is going to be the Mets pitcher that gets moved, but I think it's going to be Zach Wheeler. Syndergaard is just too good to get moved, and they just picked up Stroman, so it would make sense to move Wheeler rather than Syndergaard, at least in my opinion. But we'll see what ends up happening. It is the Mets, after all.
Sorry to interrupt, but the Texas Rangers just traded Chris Martin to the Atlanta Braves for Colby Allard. For reference, Colby Allard is a former first-round pick by Atlanta in 2015, was their 10th overall prospect this year, was having an okay year in Gwinnett. I mean, it's AAA. They're using juice baseballs, for God's sake. But, I mean, that came out of nowhere because all we saw was first, second, Chris Martin's not in the Rangers bullpen. Next second, Chris Martin was traded. So, if anyone has Chris Martin on their list, take him off now. I think it's a very good trade for both sides. Martin's been very good this year. We could talk about it after. Nick, back to your list.
I had Chris Martin in a trade going to Tampa. Paired with another player from Texas.
All right, so Hunter
but he was
to be reconfigured. All right, Nick.
All right, so number 3 on my list, another starting pitcher, which is kind of a trend that we're going to probably see with this year. I think Matthew Boyd is going to get dealt. I know that the asking price for him is ridiculously high, but I think that as we get closer to the deadline, the Tigers are going to break on that point, and I think they will end up selling him for as much value as they can get. I know that they really want Kyle Tucker from Houston. They've asked for him before, but naturally, the Astros don't really want to trade him. Number 4 on my list is actually another Texas Ranger. I don't want Hunter Pence to be traded, but I think that he very well could be. He's 36 years old, and he's having a very good season, and he's a player that a team could pick up for probably pretty cheap. And I just think that he is going to be one of those sneaky deadline pickups for a team that's going to influence influence their season in probably a bigger way than they expect or that anybody else expects. And then last on my list, Justin Smoke. I think he's going to get dealt. I know that the Indians were interested in him. But again, it's another player that probably pretty cheap to pick up. Decent bat, at least when he makes contact with the ball. I know he's not having a great season in terms of
liability, but a power source.
Right, and you kind of acquiring Justin Smoke would kind of remind me of when the Sox acquired Steve Pearce last year, a guy that can hit the ball far. You might not expect him to hit the ball often, but if you can get a hold of it, it's going places. So those are my 5.
All right, and then do you have like a sneaky like player that like you think will get traded, but like you don't think in like retrospect he will?
I think Ken Giles is probably one of those players. I know that there's been concerns about his elbow, and that's why it's been kind of quiet on the front of Ken Giles and whether or not he's going to be traded. I think that if a team does manage to pry him away, they're going to be able to do it at a lesser cost because of that. And I think that if he can, if his elbow checks out and he's able to throw healthy again, that could be a huge impact for someone's bullpen.
All right. So next up, let's go with Alex.
Okay. So the first player I have getting traded is Shane Green. And I think the thing with Shane Green is he's having a breakout year. And he's under control. At least, yeah, he's under control, and because he's under control, I'm terrible at speaking. That because he's under control, it means it might take a little bit more, but I think the Tigers would also have to take into account that if they get what they're demanding for Boyd, then they could deal Green off for a little bit less.
Well, I mean, they were asking for Carter Kaboom from the Nationals. A lot of teams have been asking for Carter Kaboom, and the Nationals are refusing to trade him. So we'll see what happens in that front.
Yeah.
I think the Nationals are going to be big players tomorrow on the bullpen market.
They could. I feel like Shane Green could go to Washington. He could go to Tampa. I feel like the most suitable buyer would be Oakland, though. I feel like if somebody were to get him, it would be Oakland.
All right, so who's your second option?
Corey Dickerson. And there's a lot of outfielders who are on the market this year. That's no secret. But I honestly think Corey Dickerson's one of the better ones. I know he'd only be a rental, but he's great with the bat. He won a Gold Glove last year, and he would add some good pop into the middle of a lineup for a contender.
And yes, I understand he's hitting 303, but there's a little concern he's played in 42 games this year.
I know he hasn't played a lot, but last year his glove really showed, and he's still got some good pop, and I really feel like he could benefit a team like Boston, even though they don't need a corner outfield.
I don't know if Boston is the best idea there.
Yeah, but a team built like Boston, who's just constantly like contact power throughout the entire lineup.
So Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland would be a good fit for him as well.
All right, who's your third option?
I have Ken Giles, and I know Giles has that elbow thing, and but I really feel like he's in a similar position as Bauer, as nobody wants him because he's an idiot. But
there's a difference here.
I know.
Giles punched himself in the face because he allowed a go-ahead home run.
Oh no.
Bauer has anger issues, like legitimate anger issues.
Oh no, I'm not.
Chucked a ball 370 feet.
Which is very impressive.
Yes, I get it, but like, I don't know. And there have been people around the league saying that his value hasn't gone down despite that. But it's just like you see, like he's got some anger problems. So we'll see.
Yeah, but if you can put that behind him, which I think that would be the main problem with Bauer, is if you can put that behind him, he's a good pitcher. Just how well would, if you bring him into a contender, if I feel trading for someone like Giles or Bauer would be a big if, because he'll either tear the locker room apart or be a big key addition.
I will say this right now. I understand Houston's going after him. He has mad beef with Alex Bregman and Garrett Cole. Like, very bad beef. You saw it in the playoffs last year.
Yes. Right. But back to Giles. Giles would be a good shutdown closer for somebody like Minnesota who needs more bullpen help.
All right. Fourth?
Nick Castellanos. This is pretty self-explanatory. He's also, I feel like the Tigers could get a lot back if they drop the asking price for Boyd a bit for Castellanos, but I feel like they'd probably undersell Castellanos because he's a rental.
And then fifth?
And then fifth, I have, this is kind of iffy for me, but I'm going Puig. Puig's, you know what you're getting out of Puig. You're either gonna get a solid replacement level player, or you're gonna get an absolute monster. He's kind of on and off.
All right, and then who's your sneaky guy you think is gonna get traded but probably won't?
I don't want him to get traded, but with everything that's gone on, I have to go with Keone Kela.
Dude, he's not that good.
One bad off year. He was great last year. He was great last year, and I feel like if he can turn it around, if he can turn it around, then with how low the Pirates are asking for him, that could be a steal for a team.
Yeah, you're trading him to Milwaukee most likely. So yeah.
I don't want that. No, that better not happen.
All right, I'll go next. So the first player I have on my list is Trevor Bauer, and what I was talking to Andrew about earlier is that I have this theory that I think Trevor Bauer is gonna get traded to Cincinnati, which has been a thing that's happened today, that they've had serious discussions. But I think it's gonna involve Yasiel Puig in the return.
Also, it'd be kind of funny for the two biggest pitchers at the moment that have been traded to be traded to sub-500 teams.
That is true, too. But if you're looking at what Cleveland needs, what do they need?
Outfielders.
They need an outfielder, Yasiel Puig. They need a prospect outfielder, Taylor Trammell. They need a replacement in the rotation, Tanner Roark. You're trading two rentals for a controllable starting pitcher who's much better than... I am not denouncing Tanner Roark. But, come on. Trevor Bauer is so much better than Tanner Roark. Miles better. And if it costs something the other way, if Cleveland needs to trade Cincinnati something, I don't hate that because you are getting Taylor Trammell and Yasiel Puig and Tanner Roark, who Roark may be dealt also, and that's another player that the Yankees have been looking at alongside Bauer and alongside a lot of other starting pitchers. My second one, this is kind of a shoo-in. It's Daniel Hudson on Toronto. He's had a very good season, and then you take into account that he's cheap. Like, extremely cheap. He has a 2.87 ERA this year. He's 6-3. His whip is a little high, but that's because he walks a lot of guys and gives up a lot of hits. But he's very good at getting out of jams. His FIP is also really high, but only stat nerds will know the disappointment of a high fielding independent pitcher. I do think Hudson will end up going to a team, either the Nationals or the Red Sox or the Twins, like somebody who needs like that long relief. And I understand that the Red Sox are putting a lot of faith in Derwins and Hernandez right now, but I feel like Hernandez may get traded. I don't know in what. I just have that gut feeling that Hernandez will get traded tomorrow. Then we're talking about the third player, and this is a weird one, Andrew Chafin in Arizona. And the only reason I'm saying Chafin and not Robbie Ray, not Archie Bradley, not anybody else, is because the southpaw reliever market is always something to desire. There are going to be a lot of suitors for left-handed relievers tomorrow. And Chafin may be the best one out there. So, well, I don't think they'll get a ton for him, but I think that he will get moved. He's having a pretty solid season. I think he's under control for. He is under control for 2 more seasons. And I just think that he'll definitely be somebody to look out for tomorrow. My fourth guy is Zach Wheeler. Self-explanatory. We've gone over this. He has to go. Because if the Mets tender him the qualifying offer and he stays, he's taking that 19.25 mil, and there's no way he's denying it. The fifth player, it's not going to be one of those like Shane Green, Nick Castellanos, because they've been said and they're kind of out there as players that'll probably get dealt tomorrow. The fifth guy, this is another interesting one. I think Hunter Renfroe is going to be on the move tomorrow. I don't know why, but there's just this gut that San Diego's gonna trade an outfielder.
You think they're gonna pull the trigger on a starting pitcher for him?
I think it's gonna be in a starting pitcher package. If it's Renfroe to Cleveland and a Bauer package, sure. If it's Renfroe to the Mets in a Syndergaard package, or Margot to the Mets in a Syndergaard package, with Austin Hedges, with more players, because apparently the Padres have offered deals with multiple major league players in them, sure, that's fine. If it's to Texas for Mike Minor, sure, that's fine. But I think Renfroe's going to be moved tomorrow. Then my sneaky one, and this is just as like, I don't know, because when you're talking about players that you think are going to get traded, you're going to talk about players on teams that suck. Like, absolutely just are atrocious. Like, really good players on really bad teams. I don't know. There's just this feeling in me that the Cubs are going to do something big. And I think Kyle Schwarber is going to be involved. I don't know what. If it's a starting pitcher, reliever package, sure. But I don't know. Either I think Schwarber will be dealt, Ian Happ, because he's gotten some not much playing time this year. So we'll see what happens. Renz?
Okay, so my top 5, my players that I think are going to be dealt, 3 of them have already been said, so I'm going to go with those. Zach Wheeler, self-explanatory. Basically, he needs to be dealt, and I do agree. Don't give him a qualifying offer. He's going to say yes. He would be an absolute dumbass if he didn't. Second one, Castellanos, just for the sole reason of I think someone's going to trade for him if they need a bat. Also, you could also put him in like first and third if you don't want him to be an outfielder.
Or you can DH him.
Yeah, that too. And the fact that I found this out, Castellanos only has 11 home runs, but he has 36 doubles. How many of those do you think are not home runs because of Comerica Park?
Probably a lot of them. Hence why Miguel Cabrera has like 6 home runs this year.
Yep. And then the last guy that's been mentioned, you didn't have him. I don't know if you kind of had him in, but Tanner Roark. He's an interesting pitcher. A team can definitely use a Tanner Roark for like back end, and I think he will be dealt. Now to the 2 that have been said first. The first one is kind of an iffy one, but I think he might get dealt. Ian Kennedy. So we've talked about this like off podcast that Ian Kennedy's been pretty good as a reliever and specifically as Casey's closer. And yes, he's getting paid a lot of money. I think a team like, let's say, the Red Sox or the Dodgers just takes on that salary, and he might be a pretty good fit in that bullpen as he's been doing good. And my last player, and this one, I don't know if you guys had him in general, Domingo Santana.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised that you said that.
The Seattle Mariners are on a mission to trade everybody.
Depoto!
And Domingo Santana is the last valuable chip you have. I don't know where he goes, but he's been doing decent this year, and a team will gladly take him. I just don't know what you're going to get off of him. And honorable mention for who I think could be traded, Bauer, Puig, like probably for each other if it does end up going to the Reds. So yeah, that's my list.
All right, and then we got one more, and I know his list will be something.
So, I've got Mike Minor as one of the first guys I think will be traded tomorrow. Even though he does have a partial no trade clause, I think I could see him in either Milwaukee or Minnesota. Because Minnesota could be looking to beef up and try and hold off the Indians' charge that they're making and continue to play well. Because the Twins have played very well this year.
Time. White Sox have fielded interest in Alex Colomé, to a lesser extent Ivan Nova and Lori Garcia ahead of tomorrow's deadline.
Speaking of Colomé, I've got him. He's one of the other guys I have being traded. I have going to the Red Sox as another good lefty bullpen arm.
Sounds fun.
Like, the Red Sox have shown interest in Kirby Yates and Ken Giles, but the Red Sox don't have a good farm system to land those 2 pitchers.
They're also out on Shane Green, Russell Iglesias, and Edwin Diaz.
Yeah. And they'd also be able to control Colomé through next season as a bonus. The other guy I have is Felipe Vasquez is going to get moved.
Are the Dodgers gonna pay up?
The Dodgers are my landing spot. I could see him going the Dodgers or the Braves. Because both of those teams have very deep farm systems that could give the Pirates what they need in return for Felipe Vasquez.
The Dodgers don't want to trade Gavin Lux, though.
I know they don't want to, but they need another arm to give you a bridge to Kenley Jansen, who has struggled this year a bit.
Yeah, I'm just gonna intervene a little bit here. I do agree with Andrew. You have to go for it. Like, I understand the idea of not giving up, but you have to go for it and just pull the trigger.
I think Huntington is too stubborn to do it. I think even if they do try to pay up, I don't think Huntington will.
Then another...
Listen to the Pirates fan on that.
Yeah, I've witnessed Huntington's incompetence multiple times.
As a fan of another incompetent team, I do feel your pain with that.
Who else you got, Andy?
I've got... where... Alex Conway to the Red Sox, Felipe Vasquez to the Dodgers, Mike Minor to the Twins, Shane Green to the Braves. The Braves need a solid bullpen arm, and Shane Green would fill that role for them. I've got the Yankees making a trade with the Indians for Trevor Bauer.
I don't want that.
They'd be... The headline of the package would be Domingo Germán and Clint Frazier.
I don't know if Cleveland wants Herman, though.
That would be the biggest issue I'd have with that deal, is I don't know if Cleveland would want those pieces.
What my philosophy is I think the Yankees are going to pull the trigger and talk to the team in town, actually.
And try and get Wheeler or Syndergaard?
No, by the team in town, I mean the team that's currently playing us.
Oh, that team.
Robbie Ray?
Robbie Ray and Archie Bradley.
I have Robbie Ray. He's the last guy I have on my list. I have him coming to Philadelphia.
For what prospects?
I don't know what prospects, but Robbie Ray has struggled with his walks and home runs, so that's going to drop the price.
Wait, which team did you say?
The Phillies.
That's interesting.
Because the Phillies could use him despite trading for Jason Vargas, signing Drew Smyly. You still only have Aaron Nola.
That is very true.
You could have... Then, if the Phillies trade for Robbie Ray, your rotation is now Nola, Ray, Arrieta on a pitch count. You got Vince Velasquez as your 4 and Drew Smyly as the 5, and in theory you could, because they moved Eflin to the bullpen after they signed Trevor Rose, or who they signed someone today, I can't remember.
They signed Blake Parker.
I want to say Blake Parker.
They signed Blake Parker. So after signing Blake Parker, the Phillies have now moved Zach Eflin to the pen with the acquisition of Jason Vargas. So you piggyback Eflin and Arrieta together as each guy gets to face a team one time through the order. Because both of them are much better when they only face the team a batter once. They're best the first time through the order. The second and third times, they're very rough.
Time. Matt Boyd very likely staying in Detroit. Yankees were main team interested, refused to give up Gleyber Torres.
Not a shock.
Not a shocker.
There's that.
Yeah, why would? Yeah, that's.
There's no way Torres goes whatsoever.
The funny thing about it is, if Robbie Ray the Phillies did trade for Robbie Ray, he'd be their third lefty in the rotation.
Yeah, that's a lot of lefties.
Yikes. That's a lot of
You got Vargas, you got
Vargas,
Ray.
Ray, and Smiley. And this after 5 or 6 years of not having a lefty start for you.
Since like Cole Hamels, I want to say.
I believe so. I think Cole Hamels was one of the last lefties to start for the Phillies.
And that was 2016 or 2015.
That was 2015.
That's a while.
It's been like 4 years since they've had a lefty start for them regularly. But like Robbie Ray is a very good strikeout pitcher, which is very good for this Phillies team that doesn't have good defense and plays at CBP, a hitter's park.
You just need to hope he mows down, like his home run rate goes down.
Yeah. Well, that's why his price is going to be lower, is because of how high his home run rate has been.
Yeah.
Right. That it?
And then, like, another guy I could see getting moved that I don't think anybody's mentioned would be Michael Givens.
Because Baltimore.
Yeah, they're going to trade. And, like, if the Braves don't get Shane Green, I can see them trading for Michael Givens. And he's a guy that strikes people out. And the Braves could use...
There are a lot of those in sports, but...
Yeah.
All right. So now that we've got our list done, now we've got other things in baseball to talk about. Like Trevor Bauer's anger issues. Yay! I mean, technically it's trade deadline information because he is a trade target.
Yeah.
I think it was right for the MLB not to suspend Trevor Bauer for literally chucking a baseball 400 feet.
Technically, yes, because he didn't do anything, let's say, extreme. Because in like a grand scheme of things, throwing a baseball that far, yes, you are crazy, but it's not in a case of like, yeah, suspend him.
Yeah, that's
Also, as far as I'm aware, he did not break any rules. So
Yeah.
what are they going to do? Just be like, oh, you're suspended for throwing a baseball, and that's his job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Besides, we could
he
go
just-
for the dumbass unwritten rules and say pitchers are the only ones that get show emotion.
He just threw the ball the wrong way, and a lot
Yeah.
further than he normally does. That's legitimately all he did.
And he probably has a second job as an outfielder. Yes, I'm joking. Yes.
You know who does have a second job as an outfielder? Michael Lorenzen.
Yeah.
That is true.
You know, hey, Trevor Bauer could
Lorenzen just plays everywhere.
Michael Lorenzen come tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep. Lorenzen on left field. Trevor Bauer on right.
And Jesse Winker in center.
Yep. Because why the hell not?
That'd be an interesting outfield to watch.
It would be.
Two pitchers and a poorly defensive outfielder walking to a bar. The Indians
What team?
hours a game.
Yep.
Hey, at the very least, the corner outfielders would throw bullets.
True.
Yeah, but I mean, does the speed make up for the distance because they're not normally used to throwing 400 feet?
I mean, Trevor Bauer would be fine with it. I don't know about Lorenzen.
Well, I mean, it's up to Cincinnati. I mean,
Yep.
David Bell thought it'd be a great idea to have Lorenzen be like a legit pinch hitter this year, and I think he's hitting like 0.80.
He's not doing well.
Yeah, he's not doing well at all.
He's been a decent pitcher this year. His hitting stats, I mean, yeah, he's hitting 273 with 2 RBIs and 3 stolen bases. He hasn't hit any home runs yet. He's played 6 games in left, 5 in center, and 2 in right.
In reality, he has time to get it together, so I'm not really worried at the moment.
In reality, it's time to get adjusted to that position.
Yeah.
Adjusted to that position.
Yeah, pretty much.
What else?
The Pirates might actually win a baseball game today. That's pretty rare.
Wait, who are you facing?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that'll do it.
Too.
We're losing to Arizona. I guess we're just making up for it in all our lost time, just waiting to make a trade tomorrow. Whatever. We're still up in the.
Be honest, you guys might just trade for Robbie Ray during it.
No, we won't.
No?
Maybe we'll trade for Robbie Ray during the game tomorrow, though.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, I thought you meant during tonight's game.
No, I meant during tomorrow's game.
Oh, no, during tomorrow's game would be nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, Zimmerman got his first win yesterday. That's something we can talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Zimmerman?
Jordan Zimmerman
Yes.
sucks.
I know he's been bad, but really, that's his first win.
He's 1-8.
Yep, he's 1-8. Has a 7.23 ERA.
Huh, boy.
And I think Rudolph Hess is technically now the worst pitcher. He's 1-10 with a 7.31 ERA.
Oh, David Haas.
Yeah, or Rudolph. I don't know. I don't know Baltimore pitchers.
Yeah, does anybody?
I mean, the only one we know is John Means.
And Dylan Bundy.
Yeah, do they even? Yeah, I think all of their other quote unquote pitchers are just random dudes off the street.
Yeah, who the
Is
fuck
Kevin
Jimmy?
Gosman still on that team? It's kidding.
Oh, I know Yakamoto, so I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Dylan Tate did make his MLB debut the other day.
So did Bo Bichette.
The Zach Britton trade is finally working out. Oh, yeah, Bo Bichette, that's the thing.
And Bo Bichette had a single in his first AB.
Yep, and something that I keep forgetting, that dude has a violent swing.
Yeah, he does.
I'm surprised he keeps it in control, but I don't know.
Why don't we get on to final thoughts?
Yeah, we could do it a little elongated final thoughts today. Ryan, why don't you start it off? Because I know you've got stuff to talk about.
Okay. Let's just start with the baseball team because currently they're the ones that are playing right now, and I'll go with the hockey team later. Mets. What? Okay, of all the years I've been watching you, this is the first time I've been saying, what the fuck? Because at the very least, when you're bad, you have a plan. It's not a good plan, but you have a plan. This year, what the hell are you doing? You bot? I understand. What me and Scott were talking about this. When I first heard when the Mets got Stroman, I was at dinner, eating with family. And then my parents told me, like, hey, the Mets traded for someone. I said, oh, who? Stroman. I said, and I'm saying to myself, what? Why? And then you traded 2 of our better prospects. Now, I'm going to say this now. The trade in principle, it's not a bad trade. The problem is why? You're 50 and 55, 51 and 55 if you win, but you still got 4 innings. And the fact that you're 6 games.
You got
Yeah.
the corners. I'm watching your game right now. Oh, no.
Yep.
No, apparently you don't have runners on the corners anymore.
Double play.
I don't know.
Oh, well. And you're 50-55, 6 games back. I'm sorry, but there's no way you're pulling it off. I understand that this could also be a move for 2020, but I can't remember the last time that a team bought for next year and it ended well. Hell, my team did that with AJ Ramos, but that didn't end well at all. Yep. And now we get to the fact of Wheeler. Please just trade Wheeler. I swear to God, if you trade Syndergaard, you're not gonna get what you should. He's underperforming. You're obviously not gonna get the best package for him right now, even though he has a no hitter. But that's only been 4 innings. And Wheeler, honestly, I think he just gets. Honestly, if he gets dealt to Houston, I don't know, Mouse Straw and JB Busquets, I wouldn't mind that deal.
Don't count the Miles Straw.
That is true. I would not mind either. And now we get to the hockey team. Devils. I'm not used to you guys doing moves at all. Okay, it's nice that you got Gusev for $5 million. It is lavish. Hey, but we now have a competent forward core.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. It's way better than what we had last year, so I'll give that a thumbs up. Now, the only thing I'm wondering there is, what are you gonna do with that defense? Like, again, defense competent. Problem is, you got essentially 8 guys there. I don't think you could run 8 defensemen when the 2 defensemen riding punt on the bench is Micro Mueller and Connor Carrick. And goaltending, I'm not really gonna worry about until like training camp, where they're either gonna do decent or they're gonna get absolutely shelled. So
yeah, it's one or the other. That's kind of how it works.
Yep. So honestly, with the Devils, I'm not really gonna care about if they're gonna be good or bad until like September, because honestly, I've been okay with what they've been doing. They've been doing good. I just want to see them play games first, and hopefully Hall signs extension, but that ain't happening anytime soon. And Mets, don't be dumb.
The no hitter.
Yep. And Mets, don't be dumb. I know you're gonna be dumb, but if you're dumb, at least just sell low on Wheeler and be that type of dumb. Don't be the dumb in trades in regard for like a bunch of magic beans.
I don't know,
Like,
man.
I'll take.
Magic beans sometimes turn into that beanstalk. Hey, you're talking to the guy who was complaining when your team traded for Luke Voigt.
Speaking of Luke Voigt, apparently he's getting an MRI right.
Oh, God damn it!
Apparently for a core muscle?
I think all of Scott's hopes and dreams just died.
Well, for Luke Voigt. Let's see here. Yeah. Core muscle injury, he will go on MRI tonight.
Again?
Yep. That was just retweeted by MLB's a few minutes ago. And really, that's my final thoughts.
Alright, I'm gonna go next so I can get it out of the way. First off, if a player's not healthy, why are you playing them?
Very, very good question.
Is this about Luke Voigt, I'm guessing now?
Yeah, it's about Luke Voigt. He came off the injured list. Who knows if he was fucking healthy?
Yep.
He didn't go on a rehab.
And now he's injured again.
Second off, the Red Sox bullpen blew another lead.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's still 6-9, but yeah, like, they blew. Third off, Yankees, please don't overpay for pitching tomorrow. They're going to take advantage that you need pitching. Don't let teams take advantage of you.
But they will.
If they want Davy Garcia, Cashman is smart enough to say no. Brian Cashman is probably one of the best general managers in baseball history. He knows when to say no.
as long as Cashman doesn't like go full on aggressive for a set starter, you're fine. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Comes the ace-type starter aggresso market that Houston wants to play, then guess what? We won't go and trade for an ace-type starter. We'll just get the second coming of Lance Lynn and Jaime Garcia.
Was Lanston actually good for you guys? I know Garcia was decent.
Jaime Garcia was decent.
Yeah.
He was pretty good. Lance Lynn,
He was meh.
4.14 ERA and 11 starts. It's not bad.
For an AL pitcher, that's honestly good.
Last year, though. And yes, Yankee fans. This was 2 years ago. Was Jaime Garcia experiment. I mean, he went 0-3 with a 4.82 ERA, but he did pitch out of some decent jabs. He was in the bullpen for a little bit. He was in the bullpen for the ALDS, ALCS. It's all right. He wasn't too bad. If it ends up being that scenario where all that crap happens, then yeah, fine. We'll go and get a smaller starter. We'll go get Lance Lynn again. But this time the Rangers have to take on Jacoby Ellsbury's contract because he did sign him to a 3-year deal.
And this time Lance Lynn is good.
Did sign him to a 3-year deal.
Yeah. And this time Lance Lynn's actually good.
And the Diamondbacks. Oh, that's foul ball. Voigt's latest stint was for an abdominal strain, so it's basically around the same area. God. Whatever. According to a source, the Royals have had some interest in Ian Kennedy, Tim Hill, Richard Lovelady. No deals appear to be close, though. Then going to the other sports. First off, New York Islanders. You have gone a month without saying anything, really. Thanks for that, buddy.
But that's Lou. But that's how Lou works.
That is how Lou works, and it's also how the Islanders work. You know, the Islanders have not made a trade since Matt.
Yep.
That is the last trade the New York Islanders made. That's it. That's all they did. So, obviously, yeah, Islanders, do something, please. Please. Even if it's getting a third liner, just do something. Any other quick thoughts? Oh, and before I finish up, Knicks are making the playoffs with a below 500 record this year. Call me on it. The East still sucks, and the Knicks are actually somewhat decent. They have.
I mean, you guys
have players. They are not the Hornets.
A lot of power forwards. A lot of power forwards.
But we're not the Hornets.
Oh, no, you're not going to be the worst team.
Not Charlotte.
You just aren't. No, it's going to be Charlotte, yeah.
And then, one more thing to leave off on, and I know it's a little not associated with what this podcast is about, but if anyone watches the YouTube channel The King of Random,
oh yeah, I heard about that.
Founder Grant Thompson passed away last night in a paragliding accident.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Nick, go to you.
All right, so first I just want to say that Drew Brees is better at shooting basketballs than Zion Williamson.
And they're all better than Ben Simmons.
Yes. Second, the Red Sox they need a reliever. It's sad at this point watching games. It's just sad watching games at this point.
Dude, a reliever.
But a reliever, many relievers, either way.
At this rate, I feel like I don't think you should do it, but I feel like we're going to bring up a prospect and you're going to make him put in the bullpen.
It's a bad idea. But
That is.
And then moving over to the NHL, Tampa did it somehow. They went out and they did it. They freed up enough cap to sign Braden Point. They signed Vasilevsky to an extension. Steve Yzerman created that super team, and then
Breezeball bailed it out.
Breezeball is like saving it from itself. He's keeping it together. I just don't get it. I don't get how
He learned some
did it.
dark
I don't know
magic from Steve Yzerman.
Right. I don't know who they sold their soul to, but
You got
I mean,
first round pick for JT Miller. You got another goalie because having Mike Condon, Curtis McElhinney, Louis Domingue as Vasilevsky's backups.
Who was the best
Domingue?
out of those three?
Domingue was solid last year. Domingue was a really good backup. McElhinney's also good. We've seen that.
Trade Domingue and they're gonna waive Condon.
But then, I mean, they moved the Callahan contract. Like I just don't get it. I don't get how they keep managing to pull wild stuff like this off, but they do. And then I guess I'll just end today with a fun fact for Tuesday. The goaltender with the most wins in the playoffs that was drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs is Tuukka Rask. So, yeah.
Such a lovely stat.
Did Tyler Wade just go deep? Tyler Wade.
Oh, wait, that dude went deep.
That just okay. The Yankees are down by 2, but my day is made. The most hated man on planet Earth, Mr. Can't hit for shit. Tyler
Just went yard.
just went young. And now if we win, Didi Gregorius has to find a new one. Alright, Alex.
And you're Alex, one of you guys?
Alex.
Hi. So
Maybe the best for last, I see.
True.
So about the Gusev trade. From a Knights perspective, I think it's one of those. It's a wait and see type of deal. I think that Gusev, it's a little bit of an overpayment for a guy who's never stepped foot in the NHL. But I feel like if he produces as advertised, that's a steal for New Jersey. Or if he just flops, then it's a steal for the Knights. It's a wait and see.
That's completely agreeable.
Yeah. It's like there's no clear there'll be a clear winner in like a year or two, but right now there's no clear winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not Tyler Wade's first name.
I was about to say it isn't.
He hit one last year.
And then about basketball, I wouldn't consider myself the biggest basketball fan, but I want the Pistons to do something. They've been in for everybody. Now they're apparently in for Bradley Beal, but I don't know if he's going to sign that contract given by Washington.
Bro, you got D-Rose.
I know, yeah. Yeah, that's Oh, the great addition. Maybe he can stop being made of glass and do stuff.
Don't worry, he's gonna do one step and he's gonna tear both of his ACLs.
I could see him doing that. But not like they were like they've been in on so many guys this year, they just haven't been able to get it done. And if they don't go in on Bradley, I feel like they need to get Bradley Beal to put them over the top. Just that big three of them, Beal, Blake, and Drummond would be good, considering how weak the East is. Like, they wouldn't be better than Milwaukee or Boston, but
You're gonna make the playoffs with a big three of Reggie Jackson, Blake Griffin, and Andre Drummond.
Like,
I know.
the East is so bad that you guys are basically almost a lock to get it.
oh yeah, no. Unless Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond, unless they just both tear an ACL, like Derrick Rose will this year, then
That would be very unfortunate.
yes, that's pretty much the only way they miss. But if they're gonna actually do stuff in the playoffs, Bradley Beal would help.
At the very least, just win a game.
But they were, to be fair, they were very outmatched against Milwaukee.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well, it's a wonderful time of year. The big sports are on the horizon. NFL training camp has opened. And we have NFL football this week. From this week until the first Sunday in February, there will be an NFL football game every week.
It might not be actual football, but it's football.
It's not actual football all the time, but it's football. We get football. It's beautiful. And speaking of football, the NFL's been releasing their top 100 players of last year.
Oh, I'm going to like this one.
Over the past week and a half or so. They have snubbed many of my favorite players that play for my favorite team.
We get it. Carson Wentz is 97.
Carson Wentz at 96. What? Fletcher Cox at 28. Okay, that's solid for Fletcher Cox. Zach Ertz only at 40.
Okay, that's weird. He's like the second best tight end in the entire league.
Yeah, the only guy that should be above him is Travis Kelce.
Yeah, and then Kittle's right under him.
Yeah, and Kittle was at, I believe George Kittle was above.
Yeah, Kittle was above him. He was like, I want to say 28?
Zach Ertz. Yeah, George Kittle was 29.
Oh, yeah.
Travis Kelce was 21. Where is Brandon Brooks? Jason Kelce?
Well, linemen don't really get in this list.
Malcolm fucking Jenkins. Where is Malcolm Jenkins?
That does perplex me, though.
Where is Brandon Graham? So many Eagles players that should be on this list that are not.
You're getting very triggered by a list that has very little value.
It's made by the players. Somehow Kirk Cousins is ranked in the top 100 players.
He's probably ranked that high because the defenses love him.
Lane Johnson, Malcolm Jenkins, Brandon Brooks. How are they not on this list?
I couldn't tell you. You got to tell that to the players.
It's just frustrating, but it doesn't matter. What does matter is training camp. Carson Wentz and Deshaun Jackson, first play of the season, touchdown. Mark it down now. Carson Wentz will connect with Deshaun Jackson on a deep shot on the first play of the season against the Redskins.
And at the very
He'll probably
least, your
break his hand
division
in the
is
process.
basically
And
yours.
the link will go crazy.
And he'll break his hand in the process.
No, he won't. Carson Wentz will not get injured this year. Carson Wentz will win MVP.
Hey, at the very least, you have a pretty damn easy division to do.
Especially if Zeke continues to hold out.
Oh, you want to talk about that quote Jerry Jones had?
Yes, please.
Jerry, your team is Zeke.
Your team is this is actually stat.
Your team is built around Zeke.
Yeah.
You
This is
cannot build
actually
a team around Dak Prescott. You need Zeke to
can't.
make Dak Prescott good.
So
Dak Prescott is a third-tier quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. So I saw this stat. Ezekiel Elliott makes about 65% of the entire Cowboys offense. Yeah, have fun replacing that. Well, like, have fun.
But Miles Sanders, I'm really excited to see him when we get actual game action. The Eagles' second-round pick, running back out of Penn State. I'm really excited to see what he can do. He looks great in training camp. And I can't wait to see him on the field. And that's pretty much all I've got. Football's back. It's the best time of year.
And I guess
How do you want to close it out?
that is it. Sports are dumb.
But that's why we love them.
Football's back. Basketball's still gonna suck this year. And we need hockey back. And quick.
I can agree with that.
Yep.
We could all use hockey.
We could all use hockey right now. But the big thing, trade deadline tomorrow.
Yeah. Big thing is
got a deadline tomorrow.
18 hours. And I will be on with you guys later in the night. Because I've got work to do. So that is it for episode 19. Episode 20. Recap the deadline. And we'll start talking about a little bit more of the football. Both of the football.